City Chiefs. You might want to grab your microphone there as well. Howie?
Or take mine.
We're on the air. We're on the air.
We're on the air.
Yes. Thank you for joining us, Howie Long. All right?
Thank you.
Let's talk about the mistakes made by Kansas City here in the second half.
You know, it was an ugly game. It really was. I mean, for both offenses to a certain extent. And Kansas City, for some reason, it was self-inflicted. You know, the Kelsey play on the goal line, missing on fourth down, opportunities that were there. Philly just plodded through, and defensively I thought played well particularly, but I don't think offensively they played particularly well.
I mean, defensively they played extremely well. Offensively they had some sparks here and there. I think going forward on 4th and 1 in your own area when you come out right after the half, you sometimes just got to punt the ball down. Now let your defense has been the strength for the last few years for you actually. Just let those guys continue to do what they're going to do. Maybe they get a turnover. Maybe something positive happens for you down in the other team's red zone, unlike it happened to them right there. So I think they should have leaned on the defense, not taking the chances that they took, and it's an unfortunate play, the ball bouncing off Kelsey.
You know, Gronk, you take a look at this, 20-17 is the final. You can talk about the Chiefs' defense played well. They made mistakes offensively. The bottom line, though, is Philadelphia made the plays when they needed to.
Yes, they did, especially with that pass from Jalen Hurts when it was a little underthrown to Devontae Smith. They finally needed to open up that passing game, and he aired it out, and Devontae Smith went up, high-pointed the ball, and got tackled on the 2-yard line. That was the play of the game. That was the difference maker. They didn't really have any surgical drives like they do to, you know, weary out the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs, but they did just enough at the end, and they capitalized on that interception, which was a very big return, and it got the offense going to have their best drive of the game.
You know, TB, you take a look at this offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right. Tush push was, I mean, it's unstoppable always, but really dominant today. And that was a play that a lot of offseason time was spent going, maybe we should outlaw it. You saw why the Eagles didn't want it outlawed.
Well, they didn't want it outlawed. I don't know how you stop it. You got to get under the offensive line, man. That almost is impossible to do. I, for one, don't like it. I would have voted against having the tush push, but you know what? It's still in there. This is the old run football back in the 1940s. So, you know, they'll eventually, I think, they'll stop it. Today, it was hard for me to believe that Kansas City has now lost 3 in a row. Last year, they only lost 2 games all season until the Super Bowl.
We're back in were you running the tush push in the 40s? when you were,
you know,
you set yourself up for that.
The tush push was my idea. Me and
you set yourself up. I couldn't help it.
Exactly. All right. You mentioned 0-2 for the first time in his career is Patrick Mahomes. You heard the call from the game, or during the game, from Tom Brady, along with Kevin Burkhardt and the rest of the crew. Brady joins us right now. Your impressions of the 2017 Eagles win, Tom?
Yeah, great win. Just come on the road. Anytime you win a road game against this quality opponent, that Eagles locker room is going to be pretty happy. They played so well, going all the way back to week 4 last year, and so many reasons why this team is so good. Obviously, defensively, they stand out basically in every area. The pass rush, the coverage is exceptional. Then you got on offense, Saquon. You throw the ball to A.J. Brown. If they cover everything, Hurts is running. So they have just been in rhythm for a long time. It's going to take nearly a perfect game for someone to come in and beat them.
And Tom, well, 2 things. One, you're wearing a gold jacket. You're trying to tell us something about your future. And secondly, it was a little uncharacteristic. You have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, 2 of the best passing quarterbacks in the league. What is it going to take for them? You know, the Eagles haven't done it in a few weeks to get the passing game going.
I think the Eagles, it's interesting. It's just such a complimentary aspect of their offensive football. They want to hand it off as often as possible, throwing it when they have to, and they can because they got some incredible receivers, but it's just not the primary part of their offense. And for the Chiefs, the problem is it is the primary part of their offense. It is a passing game. They're just down, you know, Rashee Rice, they're down Worthy. It's just there's a lot of new guys that are integrating into this offense, and that deep throw to Thornton here late in the game, that'll give them a little bit of confidence, but they're going to need that defense to keep these scores nice and low until they can get some of their weapons back.
Yeah, Tom, I thought Mahomes was not in rhythm all day long, and probably it could have been from the defense of the Eagles, but you made a point, and I go back to it. I thought they would throw more crossing routes, get rid of the football, because primarily they did not have their receivers. And even with that, you know, Mahomes once again led them in rushing like he did the last time. I just thought that even though they didn't have their big weapons out there, they could have done a lot of things with a lot of quick passing that they just didn't get done today.
Yeah, and I would expect them to figure these things out. I just think what I see from Patrick, he doesn't quite trust his protection, and he's just not quite trusting the receivers. And that's a hard thing because early in his career, he's throwing to Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill and, Travis Kelce, young Travis Kelce was open by 4 or 5 yards at a time. And it's just the evolution of a quarterback. You start to, you know what you don't have as well. So sometimes that first option that may be a little bit open, he pulls the trigger, whereas maybe in his younger days, okay, I can wait on my next guy to get open or my next guy to get open. And right now, it's just the first thing he sees, he's cutting it loose. And sometimes it's a really tight window, small margin of error throw that he's forced himself into.
Tom, what's up, man? It's Gronk here. So
Are you still taking notes down there?
Yes,
I mean,
always taking notes, just like back in the
I've never seen
heyday
that.
when we were in the classroom. You know me, always studying, buddy. Always studying. That's right. But Tom, the Philadelphia Eagles, they really couldn't get going on the offensive side of the ball. Not in the run game, not in the pass game. And they still won the game. What does that say about this team?
Yeah, well, what they're doing a great job is they're not turning the ball over and giving the other team short field. So even if they're not producing like they do, and look, this is a hard team to produce against. This is one of the best defenses in the league, and the Chiefs playing at home, their backs against the wall. They were going to get the Chiefs' best. So even when they're not at their best, they still find ways to move the ball down the field, put themselves in position to score points. There was always a great saying, you can't win till you can keep from losing, and the Eagles are doing a better job of that than anyone in the NFL. They are not losing these games at all.
Hey, speaking of losing real quick, let's not lose sight of the fact, Tom, that the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs. They're 2-0 right now, but you know the narrative. It's going to start about the Chiefs being 0-2 for the first time with Patrick Mahomes, and whether or not this run that we've seen over the last 6 seasons is over for KC. Do you feel?
No, I mean, that's obviously an overreaction, and I would never count out. The Patrick Mahomes looks like the same quarterback that he's always been in the NFL. Andy Reid's not changing. They got Brett Veach, a great general manager. They got Spagnuolo, one of the great defense coordinators in the history of the NFL. They figure out their problems. Early season adversity, always when you have great character, teaches you about who you are, what you need to do to improve. There's plenty of things that the Chiefs know they need to improve. They're going to get some reinforcements back here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and I think it's going to be a different offense when that happens.
Certainly a long way to go. Thank you so much for spending time with us all morning on the pregame show.
Yep.
Down the power
Good luck
line.
in Vegas this week.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tom.
good luck in
guys.
Vegas, bud.
You guys don't need me for anything else. I was in the pregame, the game, the postgame. Should I fly the plane
I'll
home?
see you in Vegas, buddy. I'm coming with you.
I'll take a loan if you need any. You're just offering stuff.
I'll drive you to the airport.
Thank you
the
very
gold
much,
jacket?
Tom Brady.
With the gold jacket.
Wow, he looked good in the gold jacket.
He does look
He's
good.
going to have one from a certain,
First
place
ballot.
soon.
First ballot, no question about that.